Okay, this is an interesting one. My boyfriend's friends keep talking about going to strip clubs and have made misogynistic comments about women when I'm around them. My boyfriend says he's not like that and doesn't want to go to a strip club. However, I find that hard to believe. I know how I feel about strip clubs, and personally I don't like them as they aren't aligned with my values and I find them disrespectful towards women. So now I'm left wondering if I should be okay with him going to strip clubs even though I know it is against my values. Okay, so the title of this is My Boyfriend Wants to Go to a Strip Club, What Do I Do? And not completely true, because he's saying he doesn't necessarily want to go to strip clubs. Could be something more there. But let's just unpack this a little bit, okay? So, I find it hard to believe. I've got to work with you first before we go into the partnership and into the boyfriend and what he's saying. He's saying that he doesn't want to go to a strip club. But you are finding that hard to believe. So, I can understand why that may be difficult to believe. When he's spending time with individuals, that is something they do. That is something they may do on the frequent, or they do it on the regular, or they've done it, or they just do it when they do it. And you are thinking, well, if he's keeping company with those people, then potentially he's spending time there too, just like they are, right? Yes and no, maybe, depends. But you're not trusting him, or you're finding that hard to believe. So he's telling you he's not interested in that and doesn't go. Not that you said he doesn't go, you just said that he's not, well, just said he's not like that and doesn't want to go to a strip club. Not going and not wanting to go are two different things. Sometimes little kids, they don't want to go to church, but their parents make them go, and so they still go. They're two different things. So we've got to clear that up. But let's assume that he's not going. You're not trusting him. What aren't you trusting? Where do the trust issues come from? Are they amplifying the present moment? Have you had your trust broken in the past, either in previous relationships or when you were a little girl by dad, by mum, by a sibling, by a teacher? That's interesting to know as well. So that's a good place to start. Now, these misogynistic comments that these men are making, well, that's another conversation too. You have to have a conversation with it'd be useful to have a conversation with your boyfriend and say, hey, this is a boundary I have. These comments that are being made, I don't appreciate them. It's disrespectful. And so you have to set a healthy boundary about what is your agreement? Are you spending time with these men? And it's difficult to say, hey, to your boyfriend, we'll just call him Peter. Peter, you can't spend time with your friends. There could be a deep bond there, a deep connection that runs for 20 plus years. It could be, this could be one aspect of them that, yes, is potentially unhealthy. And there are other values that they bring that are healthy to your partner, right? It's difficult for you to say, I don't want you hanging around them or spending time with them, and here's an ultimatum. That's not necessarily the healthiest thing either, but having a real conversation with him about how this makes you feel. And then potentially asking him, or you doing it yourself, is saying, hey, guys, these comments are not okay with me. My request is that when you're around me, to not make these types of comments. That's an example. But you got to get clear with your boyfriend what's really important to you, what's important to both of you, and the type of relationship that you want. And if you aren't aligned with this, and he's telling you he's not going, and he's telling you he's not like that, and that doesn't interest him, that could very well be true. I don't know your partner, I don't know your dynamic. And at some point, you have to take that for face value if he's not behaving in a way that is indicating he is going, and he is doing something that's against your values or the sanctity of your relationship. Do you have an agreement about that? And has he agreed to the agreement, and have you agreed to the agreement? See, we need to talk through what's important to us and what matters to us and what those agreements are. Because when we do, we get the clarity. And then it's a very clear, you broke the agreement, or no, you're abiding by the agreement. It's all about feeling safe in the relationship. Can you have these open conversations with him? Can you feel safe? It's not about you being okay with him doing something that's not aligned with your values. It's about you honoring yourself and honoring your needs. Now, you can't make him do anything, and nor should you want to. That's not a healthy relationship. That type of push-pull relationship that comes from unhealthy, unconscious wounding is not the type of relationships you want to be in. You want to graduate from that type of relationship. And one of the ways that we do that is by having these deeper, honest conversations and expressing to him why this is important to you. And not making it about his friends being wrong or even him being wrong, because he'll probably just posture a defensiveness, especially if he's known these friends for many, many years and there's an affinity there. And the tribalism component and breaking free of tribe and the in-group and the issues, the fears that are associated with that as well, particularly if there are really tight, close ties and bonds there. If you keep pushing onto that, he's going to feel confused, and depending on his coping strategies, he's either going to push you away or get angry at you or shut down completely and stonewall. So you want to express yourself and what you're feeling. And in order to do that, you've got to get to know yourself. So you're really asking yourself, why am I activated here? Why is this really important to me? Why does it hurt me? And only you can answer that. Because you could line up 100 different women, and not all of them are going to think, oh, strip clubs are against my values. Some may not, but this is something that's important to you, and that's what's actually important here. And expressing that to your partner and helping him understand that, but really showing him your vulnerability around this, that's the important piece. You have a feminine superpower, which is vulnerability, and showing why it hurts you. I know that's risky, I get that, because he may reject that. He may reject your vulnerability and make it about him. And that's a risk. And if you trust him and you trust the relationship, then you can be vulnerable. And if you're weary about that, and that's another conversation, but you can preempt the vulnerability by asking him to be really open-hearted to what you're about to share, because it's really scary for you and it really hurts and you're scared to share. And that can often soften the person. There's no guarantee, but it can place them in greater compassion and empathy for you. That way you can really hear each other and see each other. I hope that helps.